Yeah. Uh, Good afternoon to all. Here we will see about a simple Android application, and we can get started. How can we get started with Android application development? Uh, in a uh, from the using an Android Studio environment, how can we get started with the development over here? That we will see over here. And in order to get started, I just wanted to give some brief introduction about the Android over. It's, yeah. Uh, Here we see about some basics of Android. Uh, that something like we have an option. Uh, Android is an mobile operating system which is completely based on Linux kernel. Whatever be the core operating system which is running on the Android mobile phone is an Linux kernel, and the Android operating system main focus is uh, basically it's towards something like a touchscreen mobiles, like a smartphone, tablets, and some kind of uh, wearables. It was started with the complete focus towards with the smartphones and tablets basically, and the Android is completely developed in open source of consortium of developers, which is something like a open handset alliance is the committee or group of developers which has been who has been developed this the complete Android mobile operating systems, and which was commercially sponsored by Google basically. And uh, the Android system, which is we can say that it is completely free and open source basically, and which is known as Android open source project. If suppose we see that we can able to get the for example, we can download that complete source code with the Linux kernel, and everything can be downloaded from the internet as an open source over here. It was, I think, it uh, completely. Yeah, basically Android is can am I audible to all? uh,
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Yes.
okay, okay, fine, yeah. Yeah. Basically, that Android operating system is completely free and open source, which is known as Android Open Source Project (AOSP), basically. And the Android devices will be shipped with pre-installed softwares and Google Play services. If suppose we wanted to add some additional softwares or applications that we can able to add using the Play Store kind of a environment over here. And we will see about the Android different history and versions of Android over here. And apart from that, Android was focused on, even though the Android was focused on smartphones and tablets, it has been slightly moved towards different application, something like Android TV for televisions. We have Wear OS for an wearables, and we have an Android Auto, which we have an Android Auto, which is for automotive infotainment applications, and we have been using for Android for human interface devices as well. And the different versions, for example, we will the current latest version of the Android, which is an Android version 11, and we have 10, which is Android version 10, and prior to Android 10, that they use some kind of names for an Android versions, and after that version 10, they are using the names like a 10, the number itself they are using for names basically. And here we have an Android 9, which is called Pie, and Android 8 and 8.1, which is called an Oreo, and we have an 7.0 and 7.1, which is called as an Nougat, and 6.0 is called Marshmallow, and we have an 5.0 and 5.1, which has been called like a Lollipop, and we have an yeah. We have an 4.4 version, which is older 4, which is an Android version KitKat, and 4.1 to 4.3, which is called like a Jelly Bean, and 4.0, which is called like a ice cream sandwich, and 3.0 to 3.2, which has been called like a honeycomb, and we have an 2.3, which is called like a gingerbread actually. Before that 2.3, we have 2.2, 2.0, 1.6 versions as well that I did not covered over here, and it has the Android was started with the version of 1.0, and which does not named, and it has started with 1.1 and 1.2, 1.6, like that. It has been different versions, or it has started, and the current latest version is Android version 11 over here. In order to do the Android application development, we have two options. We can use Java programming language, and we have another language called Kotlin. Kotlin, the comparison between the Android Java and Kotlin that we will see over here. And Android Java, which is a very natural programming language, which has very vast or wide open source tools, since Java has a very long background of history. Because of that, it has a very vast and open storage tools and libraries, everything it has. And the Java has been popularly used in Android platform almost from the starting of Android 1.0. Android has been completely built using the Java over here. And since Java has some complication with respect to developers, and they wanted to do that, the complications can be override with the help of another programming language, which is an Kotlin, basically. And maybe over the in the 2 years down the line, Kotlin will be become more stable for the development, and Java may not be used in the Android application development, basically. We can see that Kotlin is an very modern and statically typed programming language, and it provides some kind of a 100% interoperable with the Java programming. If suppose you are developing the Java application in Kotlin, you can call the Java based code in your Kotlin application. And if suppose you are developing in the Java application, you wanted to call the Kotlin methods or classes, you can call directly over here. And we have something like 55% of Google apps are started building using Kotlin nowadays. And we have an apps like a Maps, Home, Google Pay, and Google Drive. All the apps are built using a Kotlin programming language. They are saying that the Google developers saying that Kotlin reduces the size of their code base up to 33% comparing with the Java, and also it decreases something like the null pointer exceptions crashes by 30% over here. And because of that, more and more application developers are moving towards Kotlin for application development over here. And in order to develop, we need an IDE, and Android Studio is an officially official integrated development environment for Android application development, which is built on JetBrains IntelliJ IDE and IDEA software, and it has been completely designed for an Android application development. This Android Studio is available for download for different operating system like Windows, Slack, and Windows Linux and Mac OS as well. Basically, and previously around 2013 and before, and we have used something like a Eclipse based environment for an Android application development, which has been Android Studio is been a complete replacement for the Eclipse development tools, and which has been announced as a official integrated environment for Android application development on May 16, 2013 at a Google I/O conference. And on the May 7, 2019, Kotlin becomes or Kotlin replaces Java as Google's preferred language, since Android is almost most of the source codes. We can say that almost more than 90% of the source code, even though it is an open source, almost we can say that 75% of the source code are provided by the or contributed by the Google's Google Android developers, and Kotlin becomes an preferred language for Google's developers. But even then, the Java is still supported in an Android Studio. That Android Studio can be downloaded from internet, and which is something we can say that Android Studio Yeah. Uh, the Android Studio is completely free, and we can able to download from uh, internet using something like androidstudio.com, that we can able to download it from here. Maybe I'm going to use Android Studio uh, download over here from developer.android.com/studio. From that, we can able to download that Android Studio for the different operating system, Mac, Linux, and Windows operating systems as well. That here we have an thing that we can able to download and install onto our machine to get started with the Android application development basically over here. And once we get downloaded, we will be having environment like this. Maybe I'm going to create from the scratch. I will close the project. Yeah. Once we download it, maybe this one all will not be present. Over here, it will be something like welcome to Android Studio, and my version may be little lower because I have installed this maybe 3, 4 months back over here. I'm going to create a new project, for example, start new Android Studio project, and I'm going to, we can have the different options, something like whatever we have seen, the Android is applicable for different application, for example, phone and tablets, and we have an Wear OS, which is a Wear OS is completely useful for wearable devices, something like our Google Watches kind of a environment, and we have an TV, which is something like Android TV televisions, and we have an Android Auto, which is something we can say that Android automotive infotainment systems, and we have an Android Things, something like a Android Internet of Things, Internet of Things based applications or activity that we wanted to create. Maybe here we can get started with the simplified smartphone application over here, and I'm going to create a basic activity with using this for a smartphone basically over here. I'm going to run this application, and maybe we can give the name that we wanted to build. Maybe I'm going to give something like my application name is Meetup Demo over here, and I'm going to save this into yeah Meetup, and then Android Meetup 2006, which is 2006 over here. and we can choose something like languages, either Kotlin or Java. Since Kotlin is going to be a preferred language for Android development, I'm going to select the Kotlin for this application development over here. And Meetup 2006 is already exist. Maybe I'm going to add inside that. Maybe we have Meetup demo 1 over here, and I'm going to create this, and application name for most of the apps should begin with the uppercase letters, and maybe we can use the uppercase letter with the Meetup demo over here, and that we will create inside this. And once we have selected with the programming language, then we can give option to create that basic activity project over here by selecting a finish over here, which basically creates that the basic activity project over here in the name of Meetup demo. And here in the Android Studio, we will be having some kind of a different mechanism, that is for building. We will be having something like a Gradle build and activity. These are all the different names that most of the Android application will use. That we will see what are all the things that is about over here, and maybe we will see. Let the project do the Gradle sync, and we can yeah. Yeah. This is something like it got been the project has been built successfully, completely built successfully over here. That we will give we will do that some of the understanding of the application that we will see over here. Yeah. Uh, Actually, the Android Studio has the features something like a Gradle based build support. That we will see what is a Gradle based build support over here. Basically, Gradle build is the one which is used to automate the application building, testing, and deployment. All those things can be done with the help of Gradle build. And we have build.gradle is the script which is used to automate the task, and gradle.build will take care of all the sources and files, and it apply the tools to build, and like the Java files or Kotlin files will be converted into the dex files, and those all the files will be compressed as in a zip format, like a apk file will be generated. In the Gradle build, we will be having two types of scripts, which is something like a top level build Gradle and module level build Gradle. For example, we have created sample project. In this, we will be having something like the Gradle scripts over here, and we have, you can able to see something like a two scripts have been present over here, which is something like a build.gradle, which is project Meetup demo, and another one build.gradle, which is an module app basically over here. And the which is build.gradle project is an top level build.gradle, and we have an module level build.gradle is this one, which is an app modules build.gradle over here. That we will see the options of different build the Gradle build files over here. We will see about the top level scripts. The top level build.gradle, which contains the information, something like the top level build.gradle configuration file will be present in located in the root directory of the project, and it has three different options, something like a build script and all projects and task clean. Maybe we will see over here. We have the option something like a build script over here, and we have the option all projects, and we have the option something like a task clean over here. Okay, these are all the three options we have in order to build this application. For that, build.script will have used to configure the repositories and dependencies for the Gradle for that particular application. For example, this application has the dependencies, something like we will be having something like the Kotlin versions and repositories of Google repository, and we have JCenter repository. These two are default dependencies or repositories needed for any Android application to build. And after that, we have something like a class path, which is can be used as a dependency. For example, we wanted to build the Gradle, which version of Gradle scripts should be used. For that, we will be using this com.android.build tool with 3.5.1 is the one which provides the Gradle build scripts to be used. And after that, we have an Kotlin Gradle plugin that which version it has to be used. For example, the Kotlin version, we have defined something like a 1.3.50 is the Kotlin version, which is defined over here. And we have an all projects which provide some kind of information, something like it's blogs needed or third-party libraries or plugins and libraries needed for this project to get built basically over here. And it's something like, since this is for all projects, all the modules will be using this dependency or third-party libraries that can be used by all the modules present in that project. Basically, here we have only one module, something like a module app is the one. If suppose we have the multiple modules, whatever be the repositories which we are defining over here in all the projects, something like the third-party plugins or third-party application libraries which we wanted to use, whatever we are defining, that can be used by all the modules present inside that particular project basically. And the new project, whatever be the new project created, it includes two things by default, something like JCenter and Google Maven repository by default over here. For example, here we got repositories created, Google and then JCenter is the two repositories which will be created by default. And if suppose we have any other dependency, third-party dependency, that we have to add over here in order to get compiled our application. And then we have an option, something like a task clean is the one that basically the task clean used to delete that directory every time the project we are running. If suppose we are building the project, every time that directory should be completely deleted and it has to be recompiled completely as a clean build, that we can use it for a task clean over here. And similar way, we have the options in module level build over here that we will see the module level build. This is something like we have an module level build. Yeah, this will have the different options, something like Android is the one, and we have an dependencies another one, and we can have something like the default config which is present inside that Android, and we have an build types, and that will be used for the respective features in that particular module basically. And the module build.gradle will be present inside that the particular projects. For example, it will be located inside the project module directory over here. For example, if suppose we see this directory structure over here, maybe I'm going to use projects meetup, and then we have Android meetup 2006, and this is the one we have the demo over here. For example, we have the build.gradle which is present over here, which is an root directory, which is an top level build.gradle config, and we have an inside the Apple app folder we will be having something like a build.gradle, which is an module level build.gradle file over here. And we have the Android, which is something like that will be used for example, the compile SDK version, the version in which this particular application is going to compile. For example, this SDK should be present in our system. For example, we can see something like tools SDK manager. Yeah. For example, we are going to compile this with the help of Android version 29. Then this should be installed in our application, installed in our system basically over here. For example, in this system, it got installed something like with the Android version 17, Android version 18, and then we have installed with the Android version 28 and Android version 29 also got installed, and there is some update available for Android 29 that I can update at the later time over here. And we have given the compile SDK version. This SDK should be present in the for example, you are taking this application and you are going to try compile that application in your system, then you should check the particular SDK is installed in your system. Then you will have, in order to compile, you will have two options. Either you can install that the particular SDK on your system, or something like you can change that the target SDK according to your installation you have installed. For example, you have installed 30 and 29 is not installed in your system, then you can change your the compile SDK is 30, so that will be get compiled with that your SDK basically. And if it does not present, the Gradle automatically asks for to install that with the download and install option that will show, that we will see later over here. And we have the build tool version that it has to going to compile this application, and we have an application ID which is an unique ID which is going to be used when we do the publication. For example, in the Play Store, there is lot of applications are published. Maybe here we will see Play. Yeah. Here we have on Google Play over here. And for example, maybe I'm going to check something like WhatsApp. Yeah.
It is available in the URL, brother. So com.whatsapp.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it is available in the URL, the browser URL, right? Firefox.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's something like com.whatsapp. Yes. Yeah. This is something like a ID which is an unique ID. For example, the unique identifier of the project is depends upon over here, and maybe we can check that in while during the installation that it will show that com.whatsapp dot the communication like that it will show to install over in your system. That similar way we have an the application ID. If suppose we publish this application, then it will show something like a com Nivi meetup demo like that. It will show in uh, is the unique ID of that uh, this application basically. It should not, if suppose you are going to publish, then this application ID should not match with any of the things. For example, if suppose you create that your application which is similar to this com.whatsapp, then there will be a conflict when you are uploading your application basically over here. And we have something like if suppose we wanted to define something like the minimum SDK version, it should work, and after that it won't work, something like that. For example, it depends upon the function features. This feature is not available. For example, we use some application feature which is not available in versions below, lower than this, then we will choose that the respective minimum SDK version, and we have an target SDK version, which is something like that the target SDK version is in which it is going to run in the real time. Yes, yeah, it's something like target SDK is the one. This system has the version 29 in which it is going to execute basically over here. And we have something like an option. We can, if suppose we have the version code and version name, if suppose we are keep on updating, for example, we have uploaded one APK into the Play Store and we wanted to do the update, we have to change this version name from 1.0 to 1.1, and we can able to update that our next version into the system basically over here. This is version code and version name is to keep on update on our applications versions basically. And we have an build types which has the release, something like minify is enabled is false, and we have an progod files. What these two means, it's something like minify is something like enabling the codes to be string. The code will be reduced during if it is for a release build, and the progod files are used to specify progod. For example, what is progod that we will see? Progod is the one if suppose you release the APK and it has been basically the APK build process what we have seen, the Gradle basically it takes all the source files of Java and it converts into the DEX file and creates compress as a APK file. And in case the APK was not ProGuard, then the APK can be decompiled and the sources can be easily seen by the users. And if suppose the ProGuard is used, that ProGuard will convert that the while during the compilation, during the building, that the ProGuard will convert that. For example, something like a class. For example, we have the class over here. Maybe we can take that class, and I'm going to do that with the class main activity. Instead of main activity, it will make something like a class 152, class 153, like a kind of numbers and names will be assigned, so that when you decompile that, you will not know that how the application is structured, that we cannot able to completely extract the sources from the APK. For that, we will be using the ProGuard in our application level, module level, build.gradle files basically over here. And we have something like we got the application got completely built successfully over here. And here we have an option to have, maybe once this file got created, the Android works in terms of activity. Activity is a single and focused thing that the user can do. It takes care of creating a window and placing a UI components into it basically over here. And in order to define UI, we need to call set content by view, that we will see. For example, we have taken main activity over here. Inside that, we have used something like a set content view that will be used to place that user interface component into the activity over here. And whenever we run this, we will be getting the screen of r.layout.activity main, that we will see inside the res, the folder success, or something like a manifest, Java, and then res. Inside the resources, we will be having drawables, which something like that will be used for drawings. It can be images, or it can be like a background colors kind of a things. And we have the layouts. Layout provides some kind of how the application will look like, that it provides. For example, here we have a layout. The layout contains a simple hello world, and with the mailbox icon over here. For example, that we can see with the help of, I'm going to zoom little. Yeah, we have an hello world and below that we have an mail icon we have over here. And this is the main activity. For example, inside the main activity, we are going to call the set content view. The integer, the ID number, what we have given is r.layout.activity main, that we are giving to get called. And it has something like a fab.set on click listener. It's something like this is the one is called fab. It has been denoted like a fab over here, and we are doing that on click listener, and we are replacing with your own action, something like the toast kind of a message will come over here. And this is something that we will see. And we have this activity. The activity will have something like the life cycle of the activity is completely depends upon over here. Whenever the application is launched, then it will call that on create function over here. For example, here we are overriding the on create. This is the function which is going to get called over here. And we have the option on create, and the rest of the things we can have something like it can be the default thing that the base class activity is going to do. For example, here we have the activity. The main activity is the one uh, of child class of app compatible activity over here, that is going to derived from, it is derived from the app compact activity, and it has something like a on create, and we are just overriding the on create functionality. The rest of the things we are leaving into the base class, and how that destroy or pause or any events it has to be handled. It is handled with respect to the base class, since we does not override any other functions over here. And we can once it is done, it's something like, if suppose we wanted to add some more things, something like if suppose we wanted to do while the application is get started, or while the application is resumed. For example, whenever we are creating a project, it will be get launched and created, and it will be started. And if suppose we are going to moving to another application using the help of home menu, and we are going to another application, on that time it will be get put into the paused state over here. And once it is done, and it will be get resume, and it continues the operations. Sometimes it will something like, if it is in the paused state, and it will goes to the stopped state, and whenever we are uh, uh, invoking that application again, it comes to start again, and it will continue the executions accordingly. And whenever we do completely close that application, on destroy will be get called, and completely the Android activity will be removed, and the life cycle will be closed over there. And if suppose we wanted to launch again, we have to launch the application separately. Something like, whenever we are clicking the icon, it's launching the application. That is the process of launching. And once it is got created, on create will be get called, and during the starting of after the on creation is completed, the start will come into place. And once it is started, it resumes that the continuation, and it comes continuously in the resume mode. And whenever we are switching to another application, it will be goes to paused, and sometimes after the paused it may go to the stopped as well. And if suppose we are returning back to that application, it may be written from the on resume paused state to the on resume. Or it can, if suppose the application is completely stopped, it will go get on restart, and it gets started with the on start application, and it will get started with the executing that particular application. And whenever we do the close of complete application, and the destroy will be get called, and the complete activity will be destroyed. And you have the option, we have the option only by clicking that particular icon application icon, we have to launch that icon again over here. Yeah. And this provides an Android activity lifecycle that it is going to be implemented over here. And we have an on create has been overridden, activity lifecycles on create has been overridden, and we have set the content view with our layout activity main, with the main with the hello world and the mailbox icon, that it has been activated. And maybe we will see how it is going to run, that we will see. In order to run, maybe we have the option to run this application. We can uh, we can connect our Android phone and we can able to run. And if suppose we does not have Android phone, maybe we can use some kind of a AVD, which is something like an Android virtual device that we can able to use to create that Android virtual device. And maybe I'm going to create a virtual device, and which is something like the Nexus 7, Nexus is something that we wanted to have, and I downloaded that API 30 for this device, that virtual image, and I'm going to create this. Next, the AVD name I'm going to give meetup AVD over here. And if suppose we wanted to change that, the resolution we can change according to our need. That if suppose we wanted to do the testing of different screens, for example, the portrait or landscape, different kind of devices that we wanted to do, that we can able to do that. And I'm going to do the no change over here, and I'm going to do finish over here, which basically creates an Android virtual device. Yeah. Once it is created, and we can start this, we can launch this AVD in an emulator, that we can able to do that by pressing. Yeah, it's starting the AVD. Yeah. Basically, this loads that. Okay. This is something like a Android virtual device, which we can see over here, and yeah, it's started loading. It started booting that Android image virtually over here, and we can able to see that it shows something like a Android virtual device over here. And I'm going to close this. Maybe. Yeah, this will eat up some more CPU and RAM as well, and I think it will take a minute to get load over here. maybe I think if suppose this is taking time, maybe I can show it on my mobile phone itself. Yeah, there is. Yeah, I'm going to do run the app, and it has something wrong over here. It's running. Basically, we could able to see something like build running. That graph is basically to generate the building process. Start with the building process. Something like it completely checks for that any errors are there, and it's take something like in terms of Kotlin or Java or any source code, that it will takes and confirms that there is no error is present, and it basically gathers that all the sources, and it will creates dex files, and once the dex files is created, it generates the apk, and it loads that apk into the mobile, that we can able to test on the mobile over here. That it's just started with the building process, and it's basically trying to generate the APK over here. And we can able to load that whenever we do run, it generates a new APK, and it will get loaded into the uh, Android device basically. here we have something like every Android device will have been enabled with the Android debug bridge, which will be used something like to load that Android application from Android Studio to the mobile phone, and we can do the communication from the Android Studio with the mobile phone. There is a uh, uh, there is a mechanism called the Android device bridge, or Android debug bridge is the one which is going to run in the device, that using that the Android Studio or IDE can able to access and load that APK, install that APK, and it can able to start the application on our phone basically over here. Mhm. This loads, run task. Uh,
Why it is taking this much time, brother?
Hello.
Yeah, so why it is taking this much time, brother?
Actually, it seems that the virtual device we run, it was completely occupied the resources, and uh, because of that system is gets slow. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
How much is memory size, sir?
it's a 8 GB only. Yes.
Oh,
Need to restart. Hello. Maybe,
hello.
and if not, I may need to restart my system. I think I need to restart my system to get it. Yeah, I'm not sure that it was
So
completely.
in the meantime, shall I ask one question, sir?
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah, actually, that is regarding that ADB Android device bridge, whatever you have explained, no, sir.
Yes.
It will get work when we connect the mobile with the Android Studio.
Yes. Actually, the thing is something like if new mobile phone, then you have to press that the version number in order to enable that Android developer option to be enabled in your phone. For that, you need to touch 7 times on the build version number. That will enable the developer option. And once the developer option is enabled, inside the developer option you can see something like a debugging over USB should be enabled, so that that particular the mobile can be connected to the phone Android Studio, and we can able to run the application on the Android phone. Yes,
Okay, sir. Thank you.
it's something like the new mobile phone does not be the developer option will be disabled on any new mobile phone. You need to tap on build version 7 times, and it will say once you done tap for 7 times, it will say that the developer option is enabled. Then you can go to the developer option, and you can see that the debugging over USB should be enabled, and after that we can able to debug our application. We can load our application and we can debug our application on the Android phone. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Yeah. I think it's almost nearing this. Maybe yeah, it should run on the device, and I think it,
Is any apps in the Play Store, Hari? Have you published any apps in the Play Store, Hari?
yes, we have published around 4 years, 5 years back, something like a point of sale machine, QR code, and Wi-Fi QR. Different application we have published. I think since there is no activity, they have removed from the Play Store. Maybe we have to start with that again. Yes, on publishing it.
But by that time, you would have written code in Java, right? Not Kotlin.
Yes, the Kotlin is 19 only, that last year. Was
Okay.
around, yes. Then the Kotlin becomes preferred language for Google from the May 2019. Yes, almost a year back. Yes. Yeah, Gradle build finished, and it is going to load app installation. App to be installed. It seems that my device is not detected. Emulator not found, and maybe it tried to run over the emulator that I wanted to run on my uh, uh, I have to start. Yeah. Now maybe I will run it again. It has to load. Now it's moving faster. Yeah, it's installed successfully, and we can able to see in my phone. I'm starting the camera, and we can able to I can able to install that. Maybe is it visible? Yeah.
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. It's something like we can able to load that, and whenever we can type this over here, we got text over here in the down. It's something like a sneaker that, for example, we have the sneaker comes up from the down that we can able to see. Yeah. On this click, we have that option to provide the sneaker that we a snack bar, something like we have the snack bar comes down from the down. It's something, it says something like a replace with your own action, and it goes basically that the length that we can say something like this much time it will be available, and it shows back again. That basically that this is something like we have the options Android Studio to create a new project, and with the new project we can able to we can create a new basic activity project with the simple uh, uh, with a simple something like a simple activity over here with the basic activity of adding a creating a simple window, something like yeah, sorry, simple window of activity main, which includes something like a hello world with the mail icon that we have added over here, and we can able to load that into the our mobile phone using the Android device debug bridge basically over here. And I think with this, we can wind up our session. Maybe we can plan for some kind of application development, like a small BMI calculator and normal calculator that we can our application maybe on the our next meetup. Any questions your side? Hello.
Yeah, sir, good evening, sir. Your presentation is really awesome. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Actually, it really gives a lot of information on the basics.
Yeah. Uh, uh, yes. Thanks for attending. Yeah. If you have any doubts or anything, please feel free to ping me, and maybe you can all. I'm expecting something like it should be something like knowledge sharing. If suppose you have uh, create thing like provide some kind of a hands-on to us, it will be very glad for us to share your knowledge as well. Yes.
Okay, sir. I have one more question, sir. Shall I ask, sir?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah, it's no, because being Google, actually, as you already explained very clearly that Google declared the Kotlin as a first official language,
Okay.
and parallelly they are also no started doing that another cross-platform development tool, that Flutter.
Yes, there is a lot of cross-platform tools are available. Something like a phone gap. That is something like a cross-platform in the sense the uh, developing application on one, and it can be run on different platforms like
Yeah, understood, sir. Understood.
those
But
things.
in that case, how about the scope of the Android developer, native Android developer? How about the scope? Will it be the scope is there, or no? We have to directly since directly jumping into the cross platform will be the best. Which one you feel no good?
Yes, actually, I got your point. Something like the grass platform is already present. Why we need to work on the native development, Android native development?
Yes, sir. Because no, I have to learn iOS as well, because I know a little bit of Android, but I don't know about iOS. So being in the how in the market, which one is more preferable? Whether a native Android development is okay, or is there scope is there for the developers, or should we start with that cross-platform thing is
Actually,
best?
actually, most of the platforms, which is very simple, and simple platforms are developed using the cross-platform. For example, simple functionality application can be developed using a cross-platform.
Okay, sir.
I came to know something like many projects which have been done using the cross platform, and at the end it does not fulfill the complete requirement of the application. Because of that, they stalled the cross platform development and started the native development from the scratch actually.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, okay. Got it, got it. Okay.
The cross platform is only enough for so that there is no need for native language development like that. It's something like depends upon the complexity. The it will have some limitation. It cannot go beyond the cross platform. Cannot go beyond to address all the requirements we have. If suppose we are writing directly with the natural language programming, then it will be easily addressed by. It can be easily addressed directly by the in a natural language programming. Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay. And how do you feel about that? Because Google is started investing the Fuchsia OS. No, how do you feel that will they provide continue that investment in the Android?
Yes, they will definitely continue in the Android development, and they are also coming up with the Android version 11 and those things. And even though they have the different operating systems, and their core is Android, that they will surely they will continue on that.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
It's
And
something
yeah, and sorry, sir.
similar to Android, we have Wear OS, which is also a Android OS, and something it is for wearable devices. Something like we will be getting another OS. Then it actually, even though they come with a different OS operating system, the Google should have the flexibility to install the applications of generated here, so that then only the ecosystem will be complete.
Okay, sir. Okay,
If
got
suppose
it, sir.
they directly cut that Android and coming up with a new one, whatever be the ecosystem build till now will be waste.
Waste. Yeah, yeah, understood, sir. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
They won't do that projections. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And one more doubt regarding that when in a project using the HTTPS URL, no, sir, HTTPS URL.
Yes.
So when we use that HTTPS URL, we are in a need of embedding that certificate, SSL certificate in the APK itself. Is that suggestible, sir? Is that suggestible to have the SSL certificate in the APK and publish in the Play Store, sir?
No, actually, you will do the web request or
Yeah, yes, sir. In web request, without binding the certificate, the request is getting failed. So we just binded that certificate into that web request. The
okay.
request is successful, but in the security framework, that open source frameworks, Android framework called Android Bugs framework, that framework detect that there is a in APK has a SSL certificate.
It should actually, for example, Android HTTP request client, HTTPS client will work similar to your browser.
Yes, sir.
If suppose you can able to access your website without an SSL certificate, the same thing that you can able to access your website without an SSL certificate in your application as well. Yeah.
Okay.
This is going to be your web client. The SSL certificates are needed that will be present in the web server to manipulate that communication.
Yes, sir. It is actually available in the web server. Yes, you are saying it is already available in the web server, and it's it is mapped binded with that REST API.
Yes.
But when we consume over here in the Android, it is if we enter that URL, HTTPS URL in the browser, as you are saying, the certificate is valid. That green color button also it's showing.
Yes. Yes.
But if we consume that URL inside the APK, inside the project, Android project, and publish that and copy the APK into that mobile, and if we run through that mobile, it says that trusted anchor certification path not found. Then we searched over the Google and found that maybe on the as you said in the web request itself, binding that certificate, client certificate, not a server certificate, which is downloaded from the browser. In the browser, we can, as you said, we can save us the certificate into that local. That is a client certificate. Just and then if you put that the client certificate into that project, it is request is throwing successfully. So, but the problem is that Android Bugs framework get hold of this issue as a critical bug.
Okay. Actually, in that case, it's something like, for example, we will be doing something like we will not bind that certificate into the APK. We will not keep it something like inside the assets folder or any folder.
Yeah, yes, you are right. Actually, I did in that way only, the assets folder.
Yeah, we should not keep it like that. So that it is your proprietary that certificate that you are going to do. You should create some mechanism to download the certificate when the system are booting up, when the application is starting up, you should download that from your server and you can keep it in that application like that.
Okay.
When you are,
Okay, sir. Okay.
you should not add your certificate so that it will be restricted. If suppose you are doing that, you can download dynamically and you can place it at which location you want accordingly. Yeah, maybe
Okay.
inside the app data so that whenever app is uninstalled, it will be completely clear. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Bye, sir. Thanks a lot.
Bye. Bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Same to you, sir.